A character from a movie that I've always really liked is Rancho from the movie Three Idiots. This is a very popular Hindi movie that many people in India have seen and enjoyed. Rancho, whose real name is Punsuk Wangru, is one of the three main students in an engineering college. He is portrayed as a very intelligent and unconventional person. He doesn't believe in rote learning or just memorizing things to pass exams. Instead, he's always curious, wants to understand the concepts deeply, and believes in learning through practical application and questioning everything. He's also very kind and supportive of his friends, always ready to help them out of difficult situations. Rancho was a very important character in the movie. He was the one who challenged the traditional and often stressful education system. His way of thinking and his actions drove the main story forward. He influenced his two friends, Farhan and Raju, to pursue their real passions instead of just blindly following societal expectations. He was the central figure who brought about positive change in their lives and in the way they looked at education and life itself. I liked Rancho so much because of his unique perspective on life and learning. He was intelligent, but not arrogant. He was always cheerful and had a great sense of humor, even in tough times. He taught the importance of following your passion and not just running after success. His character was inspiring because he showed that it's okay to be different and to question the norm. He valued friendship and stood by his friends no matter what. For me, Rancho represents a positive and refreshing approach to education and life, which is why he's a character I really admire.
Something I can make by myself is a clear and effective PowerPoint presentation. In today's world, especially in studies and many jobs, being able to present information visually is a really useful skill. I learned to make PowerPoint presentations gradually, mostly through practice and by observing others. When I was in college, we often had assignments that required presentations. Initially, I would just put text on slides, but then I started watching online tutorials and looking at examples of good presentations. I learned how to use different layouts, add relevant images and charts, and keep the information concise and easy to understand. It was a process of trial and error, and I improved with each presentation I made. I make PowerPoint presentations quite often now, maybe a few times a month, whether it's for a project at work, to explain something to friends, or even to organize my thoughts on a particular topic. I find it a helpful tool. Making PowerPoint presentations is important to me for several reasons. Firstly, it helps me to organize my thoughts and ideas in a structured way. When I have to present something, creating slides forces me to think clearly about the key points. Secondly, it's a great way to communicate information effectively to others. Visual aids can make complex topics much easier to understand. Thirdly, it's a skill that's increasingly valued in academic and professional settings. Being able to create well-designed presentations can definitely give you an edge. Finally, it gives me a sense of accomplishment to create something that is both informative and visually appealing. It's a practical skill that I know will continue to be useful throughout my life and career.
I still vividly remember a particular winter morning from a few years ago, probably around January 2022. It was a Sunday, and I had woken up quite early. I was at my home in Delhi. Usually, even in winter, the mornings in Delhi have a bit of sunlight filtering through. But this particular morning was different. There was a very dense fog covering everything outside. You could barely see the houses across the street. The temperature that morning was exceptionally cold, even for Delhi winters. I remember checking my phone and it showed around 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. There was a sharp, biting chill in the air that went right through your clothes. Even inside the house, it felt colder than usual, and we had to put on extra layers of warm clothes. I still remember this cold morning so clearly because of how unusual and intense the cold and fog were. It created a very surreal and almost magical atmosphere. The world outside seemed hushed and still, muffled by the thick fog. When I stepped out for a bit, the air felt incredibly crisp and biting on my skin. Everything was covered in a layer of frost, making the trees and plants look like they were covered in white powder. It was also memorable because it was one of those mornings when everyone huddled together, drinking hot tea and coffee, and just trying to stay warm. There was a sense of coziness indoors that contrasted sharply with the extreme cold outside. It was a beautiful, albeit very chilly, start to the day, and the starkness of the winter landscape that morning has stayed etched in my memory.
An interesting memory from my school days that I still cherish is when my team and I won the school level science project competition in class 9. So I would have been around 14 years old. Our project was about creating a simple water purification system using locally available materials like sand, gravel, and charcoal. We had been working on it for a few weeks, experimenting with different layers and filtration methods in the school lab. I was working on this project with two of my close friends, Meena and Suresh. We divided the tasks, researched different aspects, and spent a lot of time together after school to build our model. The day of the competition was quite exciting, but also a bit nerve-wracking. We had to present our project to a panel of teachers who were acting as judges. We explained our process, demonstrated how the water got filtered, and answered their questions. There were many other impressive projects from other students, so we weren't sure if we had a chance. It was interesting because it was the first time we had worked on such a big project together and seen it through from the initial idea to the final presentation. Winning the first prize was a really amazing feeling. It wasn't just about winning, it was about the teamwork, the effort we put in, and the sense of accomplishment we felt. It boosted our confidence in our abilities and showed us that learning could be really fun and rewarding when you apply it practically. This experience also sparked my interest in science and made me realize the power of collaboration. It's a memory that reminds me of the joy of learning and achieving something as a team.
An activity that I haven't tried yet but I'm really keen to experience in the future: scuba diving. It's something that has always fascinated me whenever I've seen documentaries about the underwater world. The main reason I haven't tried scuba diving yet is simply a lack of opportunity and perhaps a little bit of initial hesitation. I haven't really been to places where it's easily accessible and safe for beginners. Also, the thought of being so deep underwater with all the equipment felt a bit intimidating at first. I'm hoping to try scuba diving sometime in the next year or so. I've been researching some popular diving spots in India, like the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, or maybe even Goa. I'm planning to go with a certified diving school that offers introductory courses for beginners. I think learning from experienced instructors will make me feel much more comfortable and safe. I'm really interested in doing this activity because I'm incredibly curious about marine life and the underwater ecosystem. The idea of being able to swim alongside colorful fish, explore coral reefs, and witness the beauty of the ocean firsthand is very appealing to me. It seems like a completely different world down there, and I'm eager to experience that sense of adventure and discovery. I also think it would be a very unique and memorable experience, something completely different from my usual routine. Plus, I have heard it's quite a peaceful and calming experience once you get used to being underwater, and that's something I want to experience.
An ambitious person I know is my friend Priya. We've been friends since our school days, so I've known her for over 10 years now. We went to the same school and then the same college, and even now that we are working in different fields, we still stay in touch regularly. Priya has always been a very driven and goal oriented person. Right now, her main ambition is to establish her own successful fashion design boutique. She's always had a keen eye for fashion and a creative flair for designing clothes. Even during college, while she was studying commerce, she would take extra courses in fashion design and sketching. Her dream is to create unique and sustainable clothing that reflects modern Indian aesthetics. She is very focused on achieving this ambition. Currently, she is working as a junior designer for a well known fashion house to gain practical experience and learn the ins and outs of the industry. In her free time, she's constantly sketching new designs, researching fabrics and suppliers, and even taking online business management courses to understand the financial and marketing aspects of running her own venture. She also actively seeks feedback on her designs from friends and family and attends fashion events to network with people in the industry. She saves a portion of her salary every month as seed capital for her boutique. Priya is incredibly hardworking and doesn't shy away from putting in long hours and making sacrifices to move closer to her goal. She's very determined and doesn't get easily discouraged by setbacks. Her passion and dedication are truly inspiring.
My idea of a perfect home is an independent house, perhaps a comfortable bungalow with a pleasant garden surrounding it. It wouldn't need to be a huge mansion, but a spacious and warm dwelling for my family. I envision a single or double-story house with an inviting atmosphere. Ideally, I'd like this house to be located slightly away from the city's constant rush, maybe on the outskirts or in a quieter town with good connectivity. Peaceful areas around Pune or Chandigarh come to mind, offering a balance between city access and natural tranquility. The facilities would prioritize comfort and practicality. A well-equipped kitchen with space for family cooking is essential. A comfortable living room for relaxation and family time is a must. I'd also want a few bedrooms with attached bathrooms for privacy, a dedicated study or home office, and definitely a lovely garden with some fruit trees and a seating area to enjoy nature. A small terrace or balcony for evenings would also be nice. Reliable basic amenities like electricity, clean water, and good internet are crucial. This would be my perfect home because it balances space and comfort with a connection to nature and peace. It's not about luxury, but creating a warm, inviting, and functional environment where my family and I can feel truly at ease and happy. Being a bit away from city noise would provide calmness, while still being close enough for convenience. The garden would be my sanctuary. It's about a living space that supports a healthy and joyful lifestyle, filled with love and laughter.
A recent invention that I find really interesting and like the most is the AI-powered voice assistant that comes built into most smartphones these days, like Google Assistant or Siri. While basic voice commands have been around for a while, the intelligence and usefulness of these assistants have improved a lot recently. I started using Google Assistant more actively in the last year or so. Initially, I only used it for simple things like setting alarms or making calls hands-free. But as it has become more integrated with different apps and services, I found myself using it for a wider range of tasks. I think this feature is used by a wide range of age groups. Younger people often use it for quick information searches, playing music, or controlling smart devices. But I've also seen older people finding it helpful for making calls or sending messages without having to type, which can be easier for them. What I like most about these AI voice assistants is their convenience and how much they simplify everyday tasks. I can ask it questions on the go, get directions while driving, set reminders, play my favorite music, and even control smart home devices, all just by using my voice. It's incredibly helpful when my hands are busy or when I need information quickly without having to type. The fact that it's constantly learning and getting better also makes it quite fascinating. It feels like having a helpful virtual assistant right in your pocket, making daily life a little bit easier and more efficient.
I remember a time I lied to my grandmother about a gift she gave me. It was for my birthday a couple of years ago. She had knitted me a sweater herself, putting in a lot of effort and love. When I opened the gift, the sweater was, well, it wasn't really my style. The color was a bit too bright for me, and the design was something I wouldn't usually wear. However, I knew she had spent a lot of time and energy making it, and she was really excited to see me wear it. So when she asked me if I liked it, I told her that I absolutely loved it. I said the color was fantastic and that it was exactly what I wanted. I even put it on and told her how warm and comfortable it felt. I lied because I didn't want to hurt her feelings or make her feel like her effort wasn't appreciated. I knew how much joy it gave her to make things for us, and I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth and possibly make her sad. After lying, I felt a bit guilty, even though my intention was good to protect my grandmother's feelings. I still knew that lying wasn't the right thing to do. I felt a little dishonest. However, seeing the big smile on her face and how happy she was that I liked her gift made the guilt a little easier to bear. In the end, I think I prioritized her feelings over my own honesty in that moment. While I generally believe in being truthful, in this specific situation, I felt it was the kinder thing to do. It was a small lie, but it taught me about the complexities of social interactions and how sometimes kindness can take precedence over strict honesty, especially when dealing with loved ones.
An interesting radio program that I often tune into is called The World of Science. It's a show that explains various scientific concepts and discoveries in a very simple and engaging way. They cover topics ranging from basic physics and chemistry to the latest advancements in space exploration and biology. This program is broadcast on All India Radio's FM Rainbow channel. This station is quite popular, especially among younger listeners and those interested in informative content presented in an accessible manner. I try to listen to The World of Science whenever I can, usually on Saturday mornings. It's typically a half-hour program, and it's a great way to learn something new and stay updated on the world of science without getting too technical or complicated. I find this program really interesting for several reasons. Firstly, it makes complex scientific ideas easy to understand, even for someone who doesn't have a strong science background. The presenters use simple language, real-life examples, and often include interesting stories to illustrate their points. Secondly, it covers a wide range of topics, so I always end up learning something new and often something unexpected. It broadens my general knowledge and makes me more curious about the world around me. Thirdly, it's a good way to improve my English listening skills as the presenters speak clearly and at a moderate pace. Finally, it sparks my curiosity and encourages me to explore certain topics further on my own. It makes learning feel less like studying and more like discovering fascinating facts about our universe.
I'd like to talk about my grandfather's job as a teacher in a government primary school in a village in Uttar Pradesh. He dedicated his entire career to this profession, which was very respected in our community. His job involved teaching young children, typically aged 6 to 11, covering subjects like Hindi, mathematics, social studies, and basic science. He was responsible for their education and also for instilling good values in them, shaping their early understanding of the world. He carried out his duties with great dedication and care, especially considering the limited resources available in those days. He mainly used a blackboard and chalk, preparing his lessons thoroughly and trying to make learning engaging through storytelling and real-life examples. He was known for his patience and understanding, recognizing that each child learns differently. He would offer extra help to struggling students and always encourage them to strive for their best. He was more than just a teacher. He was a guide and a mentor, often visiting students' homes to discuss their progress with parents. From my grandfather's profession, I learned the significance of hard work, dedication, and patience. He demonstrated that a job can be a means to positively influence others' lives. His commitment to his students and his passion for teaching highlighted the value of education and the crucial role of teachers. I also learned the importance of simplicity and resourcefulness. His life taught me that respect is earned through genuine effort and care for the community, and his dedication to his noble profession continues to inspire me to this day.
I recently had the opportunity to see the Statue of Unity. It's a massive statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was a very important figure in India's independence movement. It's located in the state of Gujarat, near the Sardar Sarovar Dam. I saw it when I visited Gujarat with my family a few months ago. We made a special trip to see this statue because it's become quite a famous landmark in India. It's situated on a river island called Sadhu Bet, and the whole area around it has been developed as a tourist attraction. The statue was designed by the Indian sculptor Ram V. Sutar. He's a very well-known artist who has created many significant sculptures in India. The Statue of Unity is one of his most ambitious and grand creations. What I like most about the Statue of Unity was its sheer scale and the impressive engineering behind it. It's one of the tallest statues in the world, and seeing it in person is quite breathtaking. It stands so tall and majestic against the sky. I also appreciated the detailed work on the statue, capturing the likeness and the strong presence of Sardar Patel. It felt like a powerful tribute to his contribution to our nation. Furthermore, the location of the statue, surrounded by nature and overlooking the dam, adds to its grandeur. The whole experience of visiting the site, learning about Sardar Patel, and witnessing this massive sculpture was quite inspiring and made me feel a sense of pride in our country's history and achievements.
I remember a time when I trained my younger cousin Rohan, who was about 12 years old then, how to ride a bicycle. He had just gotten a new bicycle for his birthday and was really excited to learn, but also a bit nervous about balancing and falling. I took on the role of his trainer. I remember taking him to a nearby park which had a large open space that was perfect for learning. I started by showing him the different parts of the guided bicycle and explaining how the brakes worked for safety. Then I held on to the back of the bicycle while he practiced pedaling and getting a feel for steering. We did this for a while until he felt a little more confident. This training was quite important for Rohan. Learning to ride a bicycle is a big milestone for a child. It gives them a sense of freedom and independence. It also encourages physical activity and helps them develop coordination and balance. He was really eager to learn so he could ride with his friends in the neighborhood. Teaching Rohan was a very rewarding experience for me. At first, he was quite hesitant and a little scared of falling. It took patience and encouragement to help him overcome his fear. Seeing his determination and the joy on his face when he finally rode on his own was truly fulfilling. It felt good to share a skill that I had learned when I was his age. It also made me realize the importance of clear instructions and positive reinforcement when teaching someone new. His excitement and quick progress made the whole process enjoyable, and it strengthened our bond as cousins. It was a proud moment for me to see him achieve something he had really wanted to do.
I remember a decision I made a couple of years ago that didn't turn out well. It was when I decided to buy a particular smartphone based solely on its attractive features and a low price, without doing enough research. I made this decision around the middle of 2023. At that time, my old phone was starting to have problems, and I really needed a new one. I saw an advertisement online for a smartphone that had a lot of impressive specifications, like a good camera and a large screen, and it was being sold at a very tempting discount. My main reason for making that decision was the price. I was a student at the time and didn't have a lot of money to spend on a new phone. This one seemed to offer a lot of features for a relatively low cost, so I thought it was a smart deal. I didn't really look into the brand much or read many reviews. I was mainly focused on getting the most features within my budget. However, things went wrong pretty quickly after I bought it. Within a few weeks, the phone started having software issues. It would often freeze or restart unexpectedly. The battery life was also much worse than advertised. The camera, while it had good specifications on paper, didn't actually take very good photos. I tried contacting customer support, but they were not very helpful. Eventually, after struggling with it for a few months, I realized I had wasted my money on a phone that wasn't reliable. I learned a valuable lesson about not just looking at the price and features, but also considering the brand reputation and reading reviews before making a purchase, especially for electronics. It was a frustrating experience, and I ended up having to buy another phone much sooner than I had planned.
I recently had the chance to attend a really exciting cricket match. It was a T20 international game between India and Pakistan. As you know, cricket matches between these two teams are always a huge deal in India, filled with a lot of passion and excitement. I went to the Feroz Shah Kotla Stadium in Delhi to watch the match. This is a very famous and historic cricket ground in our city, and it's always buzzing with energy during big games. Luckily, I managed to get tickets with some of my friends a few weeks in advance, as they tend to sell out very quickly. The main reason I wanted to attend this particular match was the rivalry between India and Pakistan. The atmosphere at the stadium during these games is just electric. Everyone is so enthusiastic and passionate about their team. It's a completely different experience watching it live compared to on television. I also enjoy the thrill of the game itself, the big hits, the fast bowling, and the unpredictable nature of T20 cricket. My experience at the stadium was absolutely fantastic. The energy of the crowd was incredible. Everyone was cheering, chanting, and waving flags. The atmosphere was intense but also very friendly among the Indian supporters. Every boundary hit and every wicket taken by the Indian team was met with huge roars of applause, even though the match went down to the wire and was quite tense. The overall feeling was one of excitement and unity. It was a memorable experience to be part of such a large and passionate crowd, all supporting the same team. The sounds, the sights, and the collective emotions made it a truly unforgettable sporting event, and I felt a great sense of patriotism and excitement being there.